So just to give a little bit of context, I know this is a flood environment, or people who are actually interested with flood mapping and flood issues. But as we all know, that flooding is also a disaster risk consideration, and that's why it's in the realm of the hazards that we are looking for. So the whole aspect of the reason for this work is for us to consolidate some of these activities that are working, are within the African continent. So the project name is called the Strengthening of the African Network of Centers of Excellence for Disaster Risk Reduction. And this first phase was led by CIMA Foundation. So CIMA Foundation is an Italian it's an Italian company. It's a non-profit company that works with the civil protection for the Italian government, but also transcends its work through the European countries as well, through the European Commission. So it has a lot of capacity with the disaster risk reduction, and in this course, it works very well or very closely with the other development partners like FAO, WFP, and also the WMO, WFP, and also other UN agencies as well. But also within this consortium that we formed to do this proposal is the Stellenbosch University under the Periphery U network. So Periphery U is a collaboration of higher education institutions, really providing scholarships related with disaster risk and disaster-related activities. So Stellenbosch University is based in South Africa, Cape Town, and also within the network is the WASCA. So most of us are conversant with WASCA. So WASCA is the West African Science Center on Climate Change and Adapted Land Use. So this is based, all the secretariat is based in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, but also have other centers in, like, for example, one in Ghana. So WASCA is very proficient with climate change issues and also DRR issues in the Western African states. And also it's a key connection to our French-speaking nations who are, we are also interested to work with. So the other partner is the DMCR. So DMCR is the Disaster Risk Management and Sustainability and Urban Resilience. So this is a small organization in Mozambique, and it represents one of our region in the SADC region. And as you all know, of the current cyclone Freddy that devastated that region. So DMCR was actually very instrumental in mapping some of those vulnerability communities who were affected, in Mozambique and also Madagascar as well. And of course, we have RCMRD. So RCMRD is an intergovernmental organization that represents about 20 member states within Eastern Southern Africa. And we are more or less a remote sensing and GS institution, but also we work a lot on disaster risk reduction, and something that we are getting into. As you are all aware, last time when we were presenting in this environment, we did represent some of the work we are doing in Malawi on community-based flood early warning system for the first phase, and now we are going to the second phase. So essentially, because of this work, that's why we were able to be part of this team. Just quickly to give a little bit of context, we are on 23rd March of 2022. The UN Secretary General created a call for all the developing countries to be covered by early warning systems. So this call is called the Early Warning for All Executive Action Plan. So the whole reason is that they found that the climate change issues or susceptibility of or the risks that are being brought about by climate change are actually increasing or worsening. And the fact that the least developed countries and also the island states are not covered by our early warning system is really a concern. And as a result, this call was made, and the call was made to WMO to develop an implementation plan that would help in providing the early warning information that can help in the provision, or that can help support the early action activities. So as a result, the WMO was able to come up with this 5-year implementation plan that starts in 2021, or that covers 2021 all the way to 2026. And this plan basically is staggered, or it's grouped into 4 main pillars. The 4 main pillars is the disaster risk knowledge, or the aspects to do with the disaster risk knowledge. And in this pillar, the UNDRR, or the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, and also WMO are leading activities under this pillar. The second one is the WMO, the second pillar is on observations and forecasting, because we are working with the issues to do with the monitoring of our various weather systems, and also trying to create models for forecasting. So WMO is the one leading this activity. And actually also recognizing that the African continent is a data sparse region as well. So that's the whole essence of that pillar is also to improve on the observation network. The third pillar is more or less for the dissemination and communication, and the ITU and also FRC and UNDP are also leading activities in this pillar. And then the fourth pillar, which we all know, is on response, preparedness and response, and this is within the realm of the Red Cross, the International Federation of Red Cross. So this is the one that is leading activities under this pillar, but also supported by UN OCHA, FAO, WFP, and also RIP, organization. But of course, this is where most of our activities are, are anchored. But we have to also look at it within the African continent, because that's where we want to base our activities. And once this call was made, or even before, during the formation of this call of the Early Warning for All Action Plan, before there was a meeting that was held to develop in January 2020, to develop the roadmap for improving the availability and access of and use of disaster risk reduction. And this is the African-wide roadmap for that. And this was also, so this roadmap actually recognizes the need to improve the generation of early warning systems, and also to establish protocols for early actions for in order to improve on the community preparedness, and also reduce losses that may come because of disaster that may happen to these communities. And one of the issues that they considered is, which region should we focus on? And first of all, they said, can we try, first of all, to look at the whole African continent? So they look at the African Union Commission. That's where the management of the African affairs is done. So the AUC is one of the center that is managing all these regions. So the other regions that they considered is the region economic commissions or communities. So these are the ACMA, the ECOWAS, ECA, SADC in the lower region, and also on the East African is the IGAD and ICPAC climate centers. So after that, then they asked, can we try to champion some of this work within specific countries? And for that, they were able to identify about 5 countries. This is Angola, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Zambia, to be the champions of some of these activities, or to see how to be like indicators of success of this African roadmap. So after that, the UNDRR team, or the UNDRR African office was able to organize another meeting in Mombasa. I think that's what they call it, and they created what they call the Nairobi Declaration. And then basically the Nairobi Declaration was held in 2021 in November. But what was highlighted is that there is need, to improve the implementation of the Sendai framework. So the Sendai framework is where even the early warning for all action plan is also anchored to. So the Sendai framework, this Nairobi Declaration is the one that, cements the issues that we are talking about the climate change being exacerbated, and also more communities being, being exposed to this hazard. So within this context is where we were able to formulate our project proposal with the leadership of CHIMA and all the other African implementing partners. And we asked, okay, what is it that we can help, to contribute to these efforts that are ongoing within Africa. And we created a project that really focuses on three main resort areas. So the first resort is for us to understand what is happening, what is ongoing within the continent, and are we able to provide a way to govern and have like a strategic development for this for the people that we are going to identify. So, and then secondly, we asked, is there some capacity gaps, that we could help, address? And are we able to create like a specific, training program that addresses the generation or the formation of multi-hazard early warning systems? And also, can we be able to come up with an exchange program where people are learning from each other, either through triangular cooperations like South-South mobilities or South-North and North-South mobilities? Are we able to do this? And also, can we create a network where, in case of disasters, then this network can be called upon, to provide any information that might help to address that hazard. So the first step, so for the first resort area, what we did there was to come up with a needs assessment. So the needs assessment was, in that sense, we were able to engage specific stakeholders, and they asked them, what they think about the, what is their level of the implementation of disaster risk activities, and what are the gaps, what do you think is the structure within the national aspects and also regional aspects that, are there gaps we can identify? And also, can we provide a strategy on how this organization frameworks can be harmonized? So, So the other aspect is also to map the people who are also within this space, and what kind of early warning system exists, and also can we identify the issues that are brought about, the fact that there is a lot of technical information that is not really speaking to the policies. Are we able to merge or create a way to merge the two, the science and policy, to be able, for the two to work seamlessly for the provision of early warning information. And for the second resort area, we conducted training, a training need assessment. So we looked at the actors who were, providing training information, like the WASCAR and all others, other companies or organizations. And then we try to look at the capability or the ability to harmonize the training that is also provided. And also try to look at also the champions that could also improve on this capacity, either at the national level or also at the regional level. So some of the result areas for the first, some of the results that we were able to provide is that a curriculum or a program that can be implemented, or a training program that can be implemented to be able to improve on disaster risk information. And on the left here, you can see some of the organizations that were that participated in the training needs assessment, and also some of the interviews that were conducted during to bring up the information that you can see on your right. So on your right is basically the training modules that can be used, to accelerate improve the capacity for early warning information. And you can see we are also not really hazard specific, but we are looking at it from a multi-hazard aspects of it. And we have all the way from early action, also the anticipatory action, which is a big conversation, and also how we can create an end-to-end early warning systems that actually not only speak to the expert, but also to the communities as well. Also, we initiated the training of trainers at WASCAL, and where we identify key people within the African that can be champions of some of the works that we are doing. And these, participants were, all over the Africa. Well, of course, we could not have all the countries represented, but we cherry-picked basically the people who could attend. And they were able to get some form of introduction on remote sensing use for disaster risk, disaster risk activities, risk financing, for example, and also, how to look at the multi-hazard early warning systems and early actions. So this was done in WASCAL in last month, actually. So the other aspect of it is also to create an exchange, an expert of an exchange and network where the different experts can be able to share information. And here we are looking at the various mobilities. For example, we conducted a high-level technical visit to the various institutions within Europe. We first started with the CHIMA Foundation being able to open their offices for us to understand what exactly encompasses the formation of early warning systems. And also from there, we were able to visit the various government institutions at the regional level, at the national level, and the regional level, and also at the EU Commission. And also further also, I just wanted to mention that we had also one expert who was able to be sponsored to go to WASCAL to learn about how they are using the climate change information for early warning systems. So this is basically the African institutions and African institutions being able to share information. Otherwise, this is what we did for the first phase. For the second phase, which will be rolling out, hopefully rolling out in September, we are looking at we'll be focused more on country-specific activities. So these have been identified to be Niger, Uganda, and Mozambique countries. And also this time, CHIMA would have asked RCMRD to be leading the activities, for the second phase. Otherwise, this is all I have to share with you now. In the interest of time, otherwise I would have shared more. But just in case I forgot anything, please, Alberto, feel free to come in and share. Otherwise, thank you very much.